Abracadabra!
Miami Magic Twist, the best string you've never heard of.
Probably.
Ben and Joe here in the PH Tennis Dungeon. We call it the Tony, if anyone gets that reference. I'm very impressed.
If you get that reference, free restring.
And we have been out on court testing Miami Magic Twist. Now, this is a string sent to us by Miami themselves. They very kindly sent it over to us with, I want to point out, no strings attached. They asked for our honest opinion, and we're going to go on court, and we're going to, as usual, put it through its paces and report back to you with how it plays. Now, they make some pretty bold promises, don't they, Joe?
They do, and forgive me for reading, I'm not off book yet. It promises to be a remotely breathtaking and brilliant polyester string.
There we go.
I think the thing that is interesting about it is its twisted profile, as they call it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see on here, you might have to just take our word for it, but it is twisted.
It's kind of coiled around its own axis, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So imagine if you took a piece of string and you just twisted both ends in opposite direction, you'd end up with this sort of coiled, almost corkscrew effect. And that's what it looks like. That's very odd. Matt, our stringer, was most flummoxed by it, wasn't it? It doesn't take much to flummox him, and a twisted string really did.
He's very flummoxable.
Yeah. But, so it's hexagonal?
Yes. No. So it's heptagonal. It promises a lot of power and spin and control. Depending on how you get control, that might be with the spin, might work out, but we'll find out. It's a bold claim that it will literally stick to your racket.
Okay.
Now that might be problematic.
Yes.
I don't want it to literally stick because then it won't go.
Right, we'll see.
Yes.
Anyway, so yes, a heptagonal twisted string, something we've never seen before. We're excited to give it a try. As usual, 50 pounds of tension. We put it in our V-Core 100, and Joe was also going to be testing it in his E-Zone 98 Tour as well. So we get a little bit of a combo, two different styles of racket.
Yes.
Shall we?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, we are back from playing back in the Tony. For clarity, the reason we call it Dungeon is because it's a lightless room. It is the digital headquarters of PH Tennis. It is lightless. It is the editing suite. We are also doing some filming in here. Filming inside Tony. Anyway, on with the review. First impressions, Ben.
It's quite a difficult one, this one.
Yes, it's
good. It's a good string.
Yep.
We almost say this every single time we test the string. It didn't feel very nice to start with, but the more I played with it, the more I started to like it, I think.
Yes, I'd agree. So I think that I've had it in my own racket for a little longer, and when we started warming up, Ben was said, I don't really like the feel, doesn't feel great. So I said, why don't you try it in mine, but it's softened up. It's been in the racket a little bit longer, and I think yes, then as it softens up, so maybe lower tensions to start with might be beneficial. It starts to feel better. You get a lot of spin. My first impression. You do get a lot of spin, and you do get a lot of power. They also say that you're going to get control, and I would disagree.
That's probably the one big disagreement with the promises made. It almost is magic because you don't know what's going to happen next. Like you get some absolutely bizarre outcomes sometimes.
That must be the twist, right?
I'd like to think it's not my playing. But I can't be 100% sure. But it almost certainly, it seems very unpredictable as a string.
Yes.
So when you get it right, or when it sort of decides it's going to play right, it very powerful. Actually, I'd say it's more of a power string than a spin string, almost. Plenty of spin, but then that obviously a power spin combo is going to lend itself to probably a lack of control, and that's exactly what was borne out by.
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was quite the the slightly sort of chaotic nature of it was I struggled with. Compared, I also struck a couple of balls alongside it with Polytour Pro, which is very sort of consistent string, and the difference is noticeable. Yes, you're getting more power. Yes, you're probably getting more spin than you are with something like Polytour, but that sort of erratic. I just didn't have confidence that it was. I didn't have confidence that it was going to do what I thought it was going to do, or what I felt like I was asking it to do.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately the problem. It feels a little bit cheap to start with. Over time, it sort of settled in and started to play a little bit nicer, a little bit plusher. There certainly didn't feel like the ball was sticking to the strings or anything like it. Felt,
thankfully.
Yeah, it almost felt quite trampoline-y, I'd say. So, well, you could. So maybe it is. It's spending a long time on the strings. It's quite a long dwell time, high dwell time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dwelling for a long time on the strings, and that's part of the reason why you then feel this sort of slight inconsistency, that slight lack of control on the outcome.
Yeah, we always test in the VCon 100 because it's the best all-rounder, so if it's not working in this, I don't say not working, there are lots of good qualities. It is powerful, there is lots of spin. I think that that lack of control and that lack of certainty about the outcome of the ball would be a deterrent for me.
But who would like it? That's the question. And I've been thinking that I think it's almost like with any tennis string, you've got the option. You can either exaggerate characteristics or you can try and temper them down. So I think, like we're saying, in that EZone 98 tour, if you want to add just a little bit of juice and excitement to a control frame, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you want to double down on something like an Aero or a V-Core or an Extreme, string it really loose, playing on a clay court, playing on a hard court, you're going to have just the wildest time.
Yeah.
Ripping up the ball, getting buckets of power and spin.
Yeah.
If you don't mind missing the occasional ball, we probably all miss the occasional ball anyway, then Miami Magic Twist is going to be a bit of a laugh. It's a fun tennis string, right?
Yeah. And I think that's right. On a slower surface where you've got more time, where you're really trying to exaggerate that top spin to drive people back, I think this is probably going to work really well and better than the surface on which we tested it. Overall, plenty of spin, plenty of power, just a little bit too inconsistent and erratic for me. But then, to caveat that, I do prefer a control string. My game is slightly erratic already, so adding more chaos to my already slightly erratic game is not what I need. What I need is those control things. I need sync, I need Polytour strike, I need those things that are going to make the ball stay in the court, Ben.
Yes.
And this doesn't do that for me.
No, and absolutely. I think the overall, in summation, as we like to say, this is an extreme string.
Yes.
They promise lots of power and lots of spin, and it certainly delivers.
Yes.
Now that pushes it towards the extremes styles of play. And I think generally, myself, Josh, who's not here, and Joe, all prefer things that are slightly closer to the middle. We don't like things that force us to play in a certain way. And that's probably why we don't particularly love Miami Magic Twist, but I can fully see people who would.
Yes.
And I think that's the point. It's going to be very player dependent.
Yeah.
You know, someone who just likes camping out miles behind the baseline, ripping up with... Rafa Nadal would probably quite like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I wonder if he'll change in his retirement. Now it's time for him to make some edits.
Maybe.
What a coup that would be for Miami.
That would be a coup. But a coup enough that we appreciate this string. We think it's a good string. It does 2 out of the 3 things that it says it's going to, which is no bad thing, Ben.
No, of course, absolutely. And again, suggest if you get a chance to give it a go. I don't know how easy it is to get hold of. I'm not even sure if we're going to be stocking it. We'll see how it goes. But ultimately, if you get a chance to play it, give it a go. It's a good laugh. You've probably never played with a twisted string. You might never play with one ever again.
Are there other people that do the twisted string?
I've never seen it before. But there you go.
There you go. As always, don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, so you never miss a thing from PH Tennis.
Thank you very much for watching.